Hi, I'm Sarah,
This is Ogün.
and today we're in our home. So as a designer working on our home, and my husband's the builder, this was quite interesting. We had to take a lot of things into consideration, and we want to discuss all that with you guys. So this home is not going to be our forever home. It's a home we're planning on renting later on. So I wanted it to appeal to us, obviously, but once we rent it, to appeal to the masses as well. So with the biggest thing here is I didn't want to use upper cabinets. So as you can see behind me, I decided to do a full height backsplash and the same materials in the shelves. My husband gave me my dream hood, which he wants to tell you a little bit about.
So Sarah had a vision about getting this some kind of a custom hood that was
Without the custom price.
that was kind of like overall budget. And then I did some research to see how I can accomplish what she wants, but within our budget. So later on, I find out that there was a company that they send you a custom hood. Kind of
made
out of a wood, but you have to plaster it yourself.
So it's basically just a mold.
Which is
that
kind of a template. So we ended up ordering a hood from a company online that I don't recall the name right now, but that you can actually apply plaster over it. So we ended up getting that hood, and we also got a nice insert that has quite a bit of power. It's about 750 CFM, and we had our guys did the plaster work over it, and as you see, it looks beautiful.
And the reason why we wanted to do this hood, and Khan will show you later, is we also did the stairs kind of in the same idea. I wanted to bring in a Mediterranean kind of like chill, organic vibe, if that makes any sense. So I wanted it to bring in again like the wood tones, the gold tones, earth tones, and not really a lot of metals. Realistically, and what I would have wanted actually would have been a different color stove and fridge, but budget. So we stayed with the stainless for now.
You gotta stick to the budget.
As the designer and the homeowner and my husband, the builder, we actually opted out to use stock cabinets. But of course, I didn't want them to look basic or stock. So what we did here is we used higher end hardware, as in the knobs and pulls on everything that are solid, brushed brass, that gave the feel to these cabinets that they were a lot much higher end. Of course, I would have loved to have my semi-customs or custom, but because we are not staying in this home for longer than 5 years, again, we didn't want to invest too much into it that we wouldn't get back in return.
My wife, who's a talented designer, she decided to use Calcutta marble, which is a natural stone, but it comes with a lot of disadvantages, and it's also not it wasn't a budget friendly decision for us at a time.
The disadvantage is really if we ended up renting this, nobody would really take care of that stone as us.
It could stain.
It could stain if it's not really taken care of. So that's why we continued with
a stone called porcelain countertops. So we did a little bit of a research, and there was a company that we found out that they supply this material. It's the real look of a marble, but it doesn't come with the maintenance. So we ended up purchasing the stones from them. We have a local fabricator who can fabricate it for us. The challenge was the size of the kitchen and the size of the island being too big. There was no way that this island piece was coming from the entrance of the house. So what our installers did, that we have a back balcony. They had to actually bring the island stone from the back side of the house, kind of like lifting it all the way upstairs, which was a little bit of a challenge. But we made it happen to make my wife and my designer happy.
So talking about the stone, we actually, there's no upper cabinets. So I know I could have just made white cabinets, crown all the way up to the ceiling, which is usually what I do. But in this case, again, I wanted to bring it more to a Mediterranean feel, an open feel. I didn't want to close up the kitchen. I wanted to make it feel more open. So if you notice behind me, I actually carried it all the way up, constructed the shelves out of the same material. one, to me, it declutters everything. I don't think I need that many cabinets. Everything I have and I need is right here where I can see it. It all matches and it could be easily displayed. I think, again, it makes it feel a little bit more Mediterranean, Italian, Middle Eastern, that sort of feel, which is, again, our background and what I wanted to see in my own home.
But these are usually our guest plates and glasses. And then we have another set of glasses behind the cabinets that my wife never lets me use these glasses and the plates.
We're not gonna say that. Previous placement of the kitchen, we actually had the sink in the island and kind of plain countertop here. The fridge was right next to the patio door, and then we had a desk right in front of me where now the new pantries are. So placement wise, I wasn't too happy with that. I wanted the island to be nice and clean, so if we were entertaining and we have my lovely husband's friends and family over, I could kind of stage everything or have the spread right here, everything be accessible without having the sink here. And if we want to clean up, it is kind of away from that. So if you're looking at it, it is the NKBA triangle, which is mostly the most functional. So if I want to, for example, be washing the dishes and again making me my lovely breakfast, that you were just talking about, that would work.
Absolutely.
All right then.
So today I also want to show you guys a little trick that everybody can do in their kitchen. As you know, the families with kids, usually they struggle with leaving kids at home and kind of like, doing a small cooking for themselves. But with a microwave that I will show you guys right now, it's actually really easy. I'm myself as a tall person, I wouldn't mind kind of like if I had a microwave above my stove, I wouldn't mind reaching it out. But also for me, it's a convenience to use this microwave. Right now, I will show you guys a microwave that is a drawer microwave that you can actually function, you can open. You can put your food in and you can either, do it with a button or you can actually push it, that it will close itself. So it's really family and kids friendly.
So with some people's concerns is actually when they're putting liquids in here. I love soup. I drink soup all the time.
She drinks
so
soup every day,
I obviously
all day.
need to heat it up. So actually it does not shake it. It's not spilling all over the place. It is actually a lot easier for me to carry it up from here and put it on the counter versus down and then put it on the counter from there. So I wanted to just show this feature here. It's actually the only new appliance my husband would let me buy.
And a fridge.
No, the fridge does not count. That actually I wanted. Because if we were going to buy new appliances, this whole suite would be white and gold and match the kitchen.
I forgot I bought the fridge for myself.
Yes, whatever. So the microwave. I highly recommend for everybody to get a drawer microwave versus a over the oven microwave or in a cabinet up top microwave. So usually when we have upper cabinets, I actually tuck away we use an outlet strip where it has all the outlets and a lighting underneath. And in this case, I obviously do not have upper cabinets. So what I did was I used these push button outlets here because one, you need them, two, code-wise, you have to have them. But I matched, again, brushed brass from the hardware and the gray from the countertop. That way they're nicer to look at than just regular outlets.
Three, they're expensive.
Well, you married me, so you should know this already. And again, so we also didn't have, I didn't want pendant lights over the island. I wanted it to be nice and open. What I opted to do actually was use those sconces above the shelves. Actually, my house is not completely done yet. So what I plan to do is actually use a chandelier over the dining table, which would be right across from this island. And that would be the only pendant light in this floor. So everything else is a recessed light, it's all dimmable, so you can like change the mood, all of that, but just no dangling pendants like you see typically. And then my husband also did not want to purchase me new floors, so we had to work with what we had.
So we had this 2¼ just a builder grade oak flooring. Again, as we mentioned earlier, this is not our forever home, so we really needed to stay within our budget. We didn't want to spend a ton of money, which we ended up spending quite a bit. But so I was kind of like,
a bunch of money.
I'm a numbers guy, so I really had to make sure that we stay within the budget. Anyway, so what we did is we had the builder grade oak flooring that I had my the floor refinishing guy came over, and we did try a couple samples. We really wanted this look from a magazine that the floor look kind of like a whitewash. So we did a lot of trying out different samples, and we had to go kind of like get Sarah's opinion on each sample. So she ended up picking one that looks really cool, and you will see that in the floor. Right now our flooring looks really nice and brand new, but we only had to pay for refinishing it. So we kind of like, we saved a lot of cost by just saving the old flooring and refinishing that.
So what we did actually, the stain we ended up choosing was bleaching the oak and then kind of whitewashing it with white paint.
We also applied this top coat on our flooring that is very pet friendly. If you guys have pets in the house, I would definitely recommend this finish. It's a top coat from a company called Bona, which a lot of the installers would be familiar with. So it's scratch and water resistant. So
and matte finish.
It's a matte finish, so it doesn't leave any gloss. And if you guys have pets around, you cannot expect them to be as careful as humans. So they could spill water, and with their nails and stuff, you can actually play with your dogs. We have a puppy named Zeus. We always play like frisbee with him. He kind of like gets dragged all over the floor, but it never, or none of our floors, have any scratches on it. So it's a great feature that
highly recommend it. Yes, we actually thought that this finish was better than some of the ones I wanted to purchase initially. So it turned out great. He saved some money, and I got the look I wanted.
Yeah.
So my favorite part of the house actually is the smallest room in it, and it is the powder room. I wanted it to be moody, I wanted it to be glamorous, I wanted it to be, again, minimal to fit the rest of the house, but it's, again, tiny. So how I accomplished that is dark paint. Dark paint is so elegant, it really gives you that like moody look. And then I did one dangling pendant light from Tala Lighting, which I absolutely love. My husband recommended this marble floors, which I used. I listened to him, and I matched that with the countertop on the freestanding
it was a
pedestal.
Quartzite, right? Quartzite
yes.
Countertops? Yeah.
So it was a quartzite, and I think it turned out beautiful.
So one of the other features that kind of like made us purchase this house was there is a loft upstairs, which you will see in the video. That has really great features. There's a bedroom, there's a small living room. It's almost like a small apartment. So as we have our families, coming to visit us throughout the years, it's really comfortable for them, to spend time. I also use it as my man cave that I can actually hang out with my friends. I have a small bar. There's a small patio deck outside that I can, sit down and drink tea, coffee with my friends.
Outside fireplace.
Inside, outside fireplace. So this was, a lot of the great features that we really enjoy. And what we did is, before the renovation, there was only carpet on the floor. So we ended up upgrading that to the LVT flooring, which is again a waterproof and really pet-friendly flooring. So we ended up using that type of a floor. There was no wet bar. We ended up adding a wet bar upstairs, which is a good feature. Again, for in-laws, they can, if they need to make their own coffee in the morning, they have a little mini fridge that they can use. So it was a really nice feature for us as well. Sarah, actually, she did a great job with picking the right colors. First, I was really afraid of...
I love it when he gives me credit though.
Comes
really every now and then, but it's great.
Kind of like using a dark color because I was just kind of like scared that it would make the space look small, but it ended up actually making kind of like defining all the details of the space. So we ended up picking, again, a really dark color.
So it's a super dark olive green kind of color. And what
really
we did with that is we actually carried it through everywhere. So it includes door frames, doors, windows, everything. So there's no kind of outline of those white framing from the windows and doors. And I think that's what really takes it to that level of like giving, like if you're gonna use a dark paint, commit. It's gonna look so much better. Lastly, what I wanted to discuss with you guys is our living room. And initially there was this super tall bulky looking fireplace.
It was kind of like a bump out almost.
Yeah, it bumped out, and
which was taking a lot of space.
it was taking a lot of space from the living room. But again, this is one open area, so I wanted to tie in this living space with our kitchen without it having being matching or exact. So what we did was I took the same stone from the countertop and I had our guys miter it kind of protruding, so it kind of sticks out, giving that like angled fireplace look. But then I wanted arches next to it to soften up the angles, and
Which
I
was
used
a little bit of a challenge for us, because to make arches,
segmental arches, not any arches.
They both have to be exactly, kind of like same shape made, and we spent a lot of time, trying to accomplish that, because we had to meet Sarah's expectations.
And your own expectations.
Of course,
Okay.
It looks beautiful now.
What I was saying is, so what we did was the doors next to the fireplace are actually raw white oak, which I left as is, and then the inserts for that are this kind of potato sack fabric that I ordered from Amazon and had the guys insert it there. So it gave it, again, the organic feel like I was going for, and it picked up the exact color from the veining of the Calacatta. We want to thank you guys for watching.
And see you guys at the next episode.